All right, flamethrower complete. If you ever get a chance to operate a big old Harbor Freight flamethrower, I strongly suggest you give it a shot. So these are wood watchers. Over here is a wood watcher still baking, but these ones have come out of the oven. They haven't been sold yet. These are just an example of, I guess now, the hundreds that I've made. Cedar mask, self-trained during the pandemic. I've done a little bit of everything under the sun, but picking up a chainsaw never was in the cards until I found one hanging on the shelf, and everybody was so freaked out in 2020 that I just hung back underneath a cedar grove with a chainsaw and taught myself how to, put things on Facebook Marketplace. And that's what I'm doing right now, getting ready for a conference, and we'll bring these with us. But the one right now that I'm working on over here on the stump, that one we're going to talk about how you can win, but you're going to want to tune in for the end of this video to figure out how that's possible. And it is possible. In fact, it might be very easy and likely for you to win said cedar wood mask. They generally retail for about $250, so I'll ship it to you and send it to you. Or we can just talk about what's coming up. Big footage. So the last 5 years, I've been sitting on something that really has been elusive as far as finding a replica of the footage on the internet. Now, I've talked to people. Well, first of all, let me give some provenance on the footage. In 2020 time frame, 5 years ago, the footage was airdropped onto my phone under the guise that the footage belonged to somebody that was not willing to come forward. And since then, the last 5 years, I have shown this footage, not online, but to, a lot of people that should know what they're looking at to debunk it. Because the footage is different than just regular grainy GoPro footage or iPhone footage or a game cam. The footage you're about to see is, we believe, shot from either a drone or a helicopter with infrared, most likely, probably not thermal. And it has been shopped around to eyeballs that have said such that I'm guessing this is a hoax of some kind, an elaborate hoax. So let's walk through who I've shown this footage to. I've shown this footage to at least 5 or 6 people, and the last one, I think, really hit it home as far as being an expert in the field with thermal or infrared. The first person I showed it to was a series of people in Forks, Washington, including Cliff Barrickman, who immediately dismissed the footage as being a known hoax. The second person that I showed it to was Kathy Moskowitz Strain, who looked at the footage and said that she was actually on a TV show, and that the premise of the show was to show fact or faked images of paranormal or supernatural things caught on camera. And this was one of the ones, according to her, after she looked at the footage, that she personally debunked. The second or third person that I showed it to that should be in the know was a group from the Olympic Project that said that they were past the footage. It was passed on to the Olympic Project. They don't know where this footage came from, and but it must be fake. That's pretty much the takeaway that I got. The fourth person that I showed it to was the lead executive producer and also the director of Expedition Bigfoot. I spent an hour long in a hotel room when I was on set with them in California, in Ferndale, and they said that this footage is an elaborate hoax, if it is a hoax, and that it would range into possibly the hundreds of thousands of dollars in order to pull it off, given the type of costuming that was involved and the shot itself. So, high production hoax. The other person that I spoke to was one of the executive producers or producers of the documentary A Terror in the Sky, which looks into the UFO issues with, you know, millions of dollars worth of equipment on the Catalina Islands for a period of days or weeks. You can check that documentary out. I think Captain Kirk's in that movie as well. Also, the people of the UFO I-Team, which was a local chapter out of Washington State here, also had Dave Mason in this show. Dave Mason builds FLIR units for a living. He lives out here in Washington State, and he's got a part-time gig as a full-time researcher looking into Skinwalker Ranch. He's one of those guys that show up with all these thermal units. So I did show this footage to Dave Mason as well, and out of everybody I spoke to, it was Dave Mason, an expert who builds thermal units. I don't know about infrared, but he looked at the footage and said, without a doubt, I think he said 95% looking at this footage, it's absolutely a hoax. And that for me was really the nail in the coffin for the footage. And that's what we're doing right now, is just like, how did I not find this hoax online? That's why I'm coming to you. So the first one to comment below, the very first one to make a comment in the YouTube video down below, this Wood Watcher's all yours. I'll ship it right to your door. All I need is the absolute proof of who hoaxed it. So give me the production date, give me some kind of provenance. Don't just say, oh yeah, it was on TV and I saw it. That's not good enough. Give me a name, give me a production, you know, team of some kind that was behind it. So without further ado, big footage. Tell me what you think. I model him after myself. So he's all yours. All you got to do is prove who hoaxed this. Comment below, let me know, give me the links, send me the stuff. I'm gonna feel pretty stupid if you guys pull it up like this, but 5 years, you would have thought I would have found it online by now. I know how to use a keyboard, but maybe not as well as most of you. So the computer keyboard warriors, he's all yours. Just send me the proof of who hoaxed that footage so we can all enjoy it and put this mystery to bed. Until next episode, I will see you in the trees.